Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 30-minute discussion on work-life balance, and I'm privileged to have three young and very dynamic and successful nephrologists all across the country to discuss with me challenges they face at work and at home. This initiative is by Dr. Umesh Khanna and his group, the Mumbai Kidney Foundation, and this recording will be uploaded at their website for youngsters to go through it and maybe get some inspiration and understanding as to how, in this world of nuclear families and huge workload in nephrology, how to cope with these challenges. And the message from me is whatever it is, you all can do well, and everything, passes off. Challenges are also always unsurmountable if you have a positive view. So I have with me, in no particular order, Dr. Preeti Meena, Dr. Akash Shingada, and Dr. Lavi Gaur. I'll request one by one of them to introduce themselves, discuss their nephrology career a little bit, and their personal life. So Preeti.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Mila, for introducing and organizing this event. We are really thankful to you. I'm Dr. Preeti Meena. I'm currently working as an assistant professor of nephrology at AIIMS Bhubaneswar, India. I basically belong from Rajasthan. I had done my MBBS from Lady Hardinge Medical College. Then I pursued general medicine in Maulana Azad Medical College. Finally joined my nephrology residency at Sir Gangaram Hospital, New Delhi. So now I'm working here since like 2 years. I'm a regular faculty here. We'll discuss other things. First, let's introduce others. Thank you.
Dr. Akash, please.
Hi everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Preeti. Coincidentally, all of us actually have done our nephrology education from Sir Gangaram. That was not a conscious thought, but yeah. I'm Dr. Akash Shingada. I'm a private practicing freelancing nephrologist in Mumbai. I'm a group of 7 kidney doctors. We work as a private group along with Umesh Khanna and others. And it's been 4 years since I've started practice, and try to dabble in a bit of academics and social media, but predominantly work as a private practicing nephrologist. We'll discuss more, but I think moving on to Lavi.
Hi everyone. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you for having me at this event. I'm Dr. Lavi Gaur. I'm practicing here as a consultant nephrologist at Max Hospital, Vaishali, and this is an area in the National Capital Region, Delhi. I also have a clinic here. I did my MBBS from Government Kilpauk Medical College, Chennai. Then I moved to Ranchi for my medicine. And then we, as Akash said, that we all did our residency from Sir Gangaram Hospital. So I'll move on very quickly to allow the session to move on to the next thing, more from the introduction.
So as you know, all my panelists or discussants have a very, very varied and rich experience traveling all over the country. And we have chosen people, one from West, one from North, and one from East. And I personally have spent most of my life in South. So we realize how things are. Lavi and Akash, because you work in big metropolitan cities, can you briefly describe one after the other your work day and how travel makes a difference in your time that you spent at work? Lavi, please.
Ma'am, I work at, like I said, Vaishali. Fortunately, I live at my home itself is just 5 minutes away from my workplace. So I'm fortunate in this regard as well that I don't have to travel as much. I hardly spend 5 minutes in going and 5 minutes in coming back. And so this is another reason why I'm able to do my work as well as the family care in a better way, because a lot of my time gets saved because I don't have to travel a lot. My typical day starts at 6 o'clock. I get up in the morning. I try to read for an hour or so that I don't lose touch with the academics. The next 2 hours just go in making the day go ahead, preparing breakfast, getting ready myself, getting the kids ready for school. Till 5 o'clock, I spend the day at my hospital. And following that, I spend my time in my evening clinic till say about 8:30. And that's the time when I'm usually back home, and that's the time I give immediately to my kids for the little one. The older one has recently started going to school, so making him do his homework, taking care of both kids, and that's how a typical day goes.
Akash, you travel in a city which is known for doctors to move from Kolaba to Virat. So how do you handle your travel time and your clinic? Both of you, I'm given to understand, have evening clinics. So
We both have
how
our own
does
clinics.
that impact your work life, working hours?
So it's transitioning from what I used to do in my first year and to currently in my fifth year. So I think the more you grow in practice, you consolidate and your area of reach becomes narrow. So when I started out, my work days, like, I also wake up early at around 6ish in the morning, try to read a little bit. My younger one wakes up early, and for the first 1.5 hours in the morning, she doesn't want to leave me. So she's with me in the morning till the time I leave at around 8 o'clock. So I leave my house at around 8, and my work used to start from Mira Road. If you are from Mumbai, you would know that, in Wockhardt Hospital, and it used to, I used to cover an area from Mira Road to Malad, which is almost 10 to 12 kilometers radius. And used to, being a freelance nephrologist, on an average, I used to go to 10 to 12 hospitals. These would be small 50, 100, 150 bedded hospitals, and the work used to be scattered. I do my transplants in Jaslok Hospital, which is 30 kilometers away from the place of residence. So technically, my area of coverage used to, ex- you know, expand to almost 40 kilometers in my first year. This is now consolidated, and my radius is approximately, say, 5 to 6 kilometers. So I start at 8 in the morning. My rounds tend to get over by around 2:33. I have morning OPDs in hospitals which I go to, and then in the evening from 4 to 9, I have my own OPD. I try to go home on most days in between for half an hour so that my kids see me in the afternoon. And once I'm at home after 9, I spend most of my time with them. It's a ritual I have with my daughter that I read books to them before they go to sleep, and then they sleep with me. So that's the kind of life it is. And on Sundays, we used to have I used to take rounds for approximately 6 to 7 hours every Sunday. Till very recently, since last 3 months, we've had junior colleagues join us, who have now taken that off us, and now able to give a little more time at home.
Now I move on to Preeti, who is at a different work atmosphere. She comes from an academic institution. Preeti, I understand you don't have to work till late night for your clinics because in private practice, especially in big cities, you need to work with your patients in clinics also, which both Akash and Lobby are doing, and hence they come home by 8:39. So for you, what are your issues and challenges, and especially how much academic work you're starting your DM program also impacts your overall working atmosphere?
First of all, the work, my day also starts with them only because I'm also a new mom, have a 9 month old kid. So I also wake up at like 5:30, and she wakes up with me. And so there's no time to read at all. I try to, but I can't. I avoid screen time at that time when I'm with her. So after getting ready and I go to hospital at like around 8:30 and be there at 6:30 or 6 o'clock. If the patient is sick or any other issues stuck in some procedure, then it will be 7:30. Otherwise, I usually get free at 6. OPDs are heavy because it's a budding institute. We are only two faculties, I and Dr. Sandeep is also working with me as a colleague here. So it's hectic also. Nephrology, is vast, a big hospital, but nephrology department is not that big. Small dialysis unit. We have recently started transplantation. So on that front, the hospital also demands a lot of work. But after 6:30, I don't have evening clinic, so I can spend my time with daughter. She sleeps at 9:30, thankfully. So I can do my academic work, research, writing after that. And some days in the hospital are little easier. For example, Saturday is kind of half day. After 2, I'm free, and non-OPD days are also a little better. So I can do my research work and writing work at that time only. And now since DM resident has joined, I'm also encouraging them to help me, and I'm helping them to write their thesis protocol and other things, think of new ideas for do research and all. And so this is work life for me. It's slightly
Now,
different, I guess.
thank you. And all of you realize that whatever it is, whether you are in clinical practice, corporate, or academics, it's almost a 12-hour job every day. And when you have children, it is 18 hours, as Akash and Lovey told me once. So now, for all three of you, at no particular order, Akash, then Lovey, and then Preeti, Tell me, what would you think would have helped you receive some support at your workplace? And secondly, why is it difficult for us to work in groups and offload our work, professional work with other colleagues? So these two questions, what support would have helped you so that you don't carry your, and most of us carry our work home also. So what support will help that, and how can we offload our work with others and work in group? Akash, I think you have a better experience now than Lavi and
Ma'am,
then
I'm
Priti.
fortunate enough to get great support at work front. Dr. Umesh Khanna has been actually truly been an amazing mentor and practice teacher. And in terms of support also, if in case you're not able to reach somewhere, even at this age, he will volunteer to go and chip in. Even if it's a Sunday or a holiday. So, but the point is, I think it's in our upbringing, ma'am. As students also, because as students we've seen our teachers toil so hard. All my professors and teachers have used to work extremely hard, and looking at them we thought this was normal, that this is something which is expected to be done. But I think there needs to be some change or some change in dynamics as we progress in life, that we should teach our students and our juniors to give importance to personal life as well, because we learn it the hard way. We end up we feel that it's it's a sprint, that in my first year itself I have to achieve everything, I have to get established, I have to get settled. So that zest, that urgency of getting established, inverted commas, is something which is not necessary. And it's often we fail to understand it's a marathon, it's a career which will span over 35 to 40 years. And you can it's okay to achieve what you've achieved in 2 years. In if you achieve it in 8 to 10 years, it's okay. So we don't teach our students, or we don't learn ourselves to pace ourselves. And there are times where people who refer to us expect us to see the patient immediately, and out of fear that this will go to another nephrologist, we end up kind of overstretching ourselves and overworking ourselves. And I think it's not right to have that kind of insecurity. And as we grow older, we learn that. And but that is something that should probably come from from example. Leaders have to lead by example in teaching the students that way. And I think that is something which can change moving forward now.
I think this is a very important message for everybody. I look into my life, there was a period for my child, I had taken a long break and I had sort of gone myself out of it. And I understand you always reach there, whether you reach it on the 8th year or 20th year. And very important for all of you, because when we were there, I was the first qualified nephrologist in Karnataka. There were only very few. Now there are hundreds in each city. That does not mean that you have to be the number one and compete with the rest 99. Never do that. It's a message for every one of you. You youngsters, build pressure onto yourself for no reason. Lovey,
Ma'am, even I must admit that I have a very supportive family, and and also I have a very supportive boss. My unit head is Dr. Manoj Singhal, and he has been very supportive throughout my two pregnancies and the time after it. There were a certain challenges, like you know uh, that's what we have imposed these pressures on ourselves, that we have to do better, we have to be in the scene, we have to portray that we are still relevant, and we cannot be out of sight, and therefore out of sight, out of mind, for whatever reason that we ought to have taken break for. So for the same reason, like I said, that my first pregnancy was smooth, but I had taken break for the maternity leave was for just 2.5 months. My second pregnancy was complicated. I had signs of uteroplacental insufficiency from the very beginning, and even I had a choreo in CVS done for some reason, but I was back to work for the next day. So the challenges I faced was not directly from the workplace, that you have to be on work the very next day or you have to be on the work. It was just a pressure within myself that if I don't stay in the place for a long time, I'll be easily replaced. So I'm not sure how that thing can be actually changed, but yes, there are a change. There are few changes probably that even the workplace might inculcate. Like for example, uh, during both these after these pregnancies, what I faced was that we hardly have anything to support the nursing mothers. Probably we need to have place, the nursing areas where somebody can make the child visit you, get nursed, and take them back so that you can spend better times at work. And probably that saves you from the guilt that you're not taking enough care of your child, and probably you're not doing enough for your child. Likewise, I feel that there should be some support, like at least probably a break that you require from recovering yourself, and and giving that precious time to your kid immediately after birth. For the second kid, who is actually premature, I could give her only 1.5 months. Again, having said that, it was not a pressure that to from the hospital that come back sooner, come back sooner. It was that the pressure from within that you can't stay out of picture for a very long time.
Just a question, yes or no for both of you. Will group practice help you in such situations? Both of you.
Said it has. In fact, it was mandated by our, I mean, the main, the leader or of the group is Dr. Khanna. So he's been always of the opinion that we should have more people, and that's how we've grown to 7 people. And with them coming, the work has gotten distributed. In fact, it has been mandated from him now that I have to start exercising, uh, practicing yoga. So a lot of things, like I told you, good mentors, good leaders, good supporters, matter a lot. And we also learn from them and how to behave with our juniors. And definitely group practice will help in offloading things, but again, like Lavi said, it is more of an internal change that needs to be brought
That's true.
about,
That
because
is
there
true.
is no pressure from outside world. It's an internal pressure that we can't give up. So
See, all the three of you and most of you, you you don't become nephrologists just like that. Have that
Yes.
confidence that nobody is going to replace you. And that 10% of India is kidney diseases. So you will have some work, whether you do pregnancies. Before I move to Preeti, just one question to Akash. Akash, did you take paternity leave?
So for the first child, I took a paternity leave of 1.5 months. But I was fortunate because it was my last 6 months of residency. But for my second child, I took a paternity leave of 7 to 10 days, ma'am.
See,
But
please understand that's another thing all youngsters, especially the male nephrologists who will be listening or looking at this program, bringing up a child is not the job of a mother only. I
absolutely
mean,
correct.
it is both. I was very privileged to have a neurosurgeon husband who understood this from day one. And it is always very important. It's a different matter that you get replaced if your father is, I mean, if you have a daughter, and that pressure comes in because the father becomes more important then. Preeti, can you tell me what at your workplace would you think would help you so that you can have more time at home and not take your baggage home when you go home and take care of your kids?
So, first of all, when we are talking about the support, yes, I want to tell you all of the nephrologists, or especially the young nephrologists, take whatever help you can take from your colleagues, senior, juniors, everyone, especially in your hospital and also at your home. Having a good supportive staff is very, very important. I know we are all are competitive. It's, I think in our hemoglobin, we have a lot of ambitions, we are competitive, but we should support them whenever they need us, and also we should take support from them. We all get sick, our child needs them, we all need holidays and breaks, so we should support and be a team together. Next, if we talk about the child thing with me, because I have a young child, it's, yes, as Dr. Lavi mentioned, having a crash in the hospital is important. Even AIM Bhubaneswar does not have a crash here. I do not know what my daughter does at home when I am not there. I actually am really worried about her because I can't see her. I really just want to go home and see her and see if she is okay or not. If she has been there, or someone could bring her to the hospital, being a facility there, it would really help me. But it's not there, and we have requested a lot, but I think it's taking a long time. It's been like 1 year. It
I
has not
think
been
this should
there.
happen. My
Yeah.
child, 20 years back, we had a crash in St. John's. So I
Yeah.
see no reason we can not have this at this age when there are many women doctors
Yes.
in the profession. Last 10 minutes, or let's say last 6 to 7 minutes, because at the end of the day, I will ask you all to give your suggestions. Preeti, Akash, and Lobi, please tell just the three things. How frequently you take holidays? Do you miss your personal events because of your work? And this kind of, let's say this issue about work and life, how much of guilt, frustration, and depression that you have? Forget your challenges and ambition. It is just that Are you missing out at work or are you missing out at home? And how much depression, guilt, and you have for this? I have gone through, I know we have all gone through. And these questions, I will not answer how much holidays I take and how much leave, because I know many of us have really missed out in life. So, Preeti, then Akash, and then Lavi, how much holidays? How many events? The joke in my family is the only marriage I attended was mine in the family and nobody's. So I
Ma'am,
know how
isn't it
it
an
has been
Indian
That too
for.
for a long short
thing?
of time. HOD calls me and said, "Come back to hospital." Okay, I'm coming.
I mean, it's such an Indian joke, no? That in family also, when you're becoming a doctor, abhi to tu time nahi dega, abhi to you
Huh,
will not come to work. So it's
huh.
actually very
But
well
that
known that
should
we won't.
change.
Yeah,
That should change. We are all human beings.
yeah.
For God's sake, we are not doctors first. So,
And
Preeti,
even we
then
have
Akash,
asked
and
you are
then
taking
Lavi.
7 days leave for your own marriage. Are you crazy or what? You should not take 7 days leave for your marriage.
No, but Preeti, don't make this mistake. When my student asked for 17 days of marriage, I told him I took 4 days. And then I realized that's not nice
Everybody
to say.
says that. Yeah,
We need to change that ourselves now. We have
really.
to give them the support, make them realize that yes, they need more time for their marriages. So, Preeti, tell me how many leaves and how many holidays.
When I get sir, when I get to holidays, taking holidays, I prioritize them. What is more important? Yeah, I missed my cousin's marriage last month. I didn't go because I had no time. But I yes, my father was sick. I immediately went there. So in the month of March, so I did not take leave in April. So I think we need to prioritize what is more important to them. I can afford to miss small functions like it's not a small, but I miss my mother-in-law's birthday yesterday. I was so tired. After this, I know there are going to be consequences. I could not be there. My transplant patient is sick. So when the hospital calls, you need to important what is more important to you. I had to be in the hospital. But I said sorry to her, and I'll make it up to you on coming Sunday or whenever I get leave. So it's definitely need to get prioritized. Being in a government hospital, yes, I get vacations for summer and winter. So I can keep up with my family at that time. Other than that, on conferences, I take a small break and make because I have another colleague also. So make sure that he go for 1 day and I go for 1 day. So it gets very hectic for travel also with the daughter. But I think it's that should be done. I don't think there's any other way to do it.
True. Akash?
We've always loved traveling, me and my wife. So till residency days, it was a mandate that we used to go on 2 trips every year. But in since practice has started, we've not taken a long break at all. So, but we make it a point that every 2 to 3 months we take at least 2 or 3 days break because it reaches to such a level of saturation that you stop working
Toxicity,
properly.
absolutely.
Yeah, so it becomes toxic actually. So we end up taking, or it's compulsory that we take 2 or 3 days short trips every 2 to 3 months, and we've now started trying to at least go for a long, one long trip at least once a year, maybe hopefully more in future. So, and that's the first question. Missing out on personal events, it happens every day. But more than striking a work-life balance, it's also got to do with the kind of sensitive profession that we are in. So we'll end up, prioritizing the work always. And for example, I've missed so many funerals, so many engagements or weddings just because I and people have started expecting it now. His work is more important, that's why he's not coming. Nobody criticizes also now, but it's something which definitely needs to be changed and kind of thought about. And ma'am, what was the third question? I'm sorry, I
So
missed that.
this is and do you feel any guilt, depression, and all because of this kind of being pulled on both ways,
Oh,
kind of
ma'am,
agree?
always. There have been so many times I've sat in the night and literally cried, and I'm not ashamed in saying it because I've truly gotten overwhelmed. Because even my wife understood that I need to work, but she was also, she's also a working woman at the end of the day,
True.
and for to support my career, she's ended up sacrificing a lot, and which is not fair to her also, and that also needs to be kind of understood. But like I told you, knowing if I would have known in my if I would have learned from while in residency that it's okay to go slow, it's important to prioritize. There
True.
is a concept of reaching home at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. This
I
is not
really
something
agree.
which I would have probably
Yes.
done in my first year. I would have been more secure in my life, and I can't emphasize the role of group practice here, ma'am. It's okay if you just see 10 patients. It's okay if you just see 5 patients.
True.
You should at the end of the day do the best, your best possible for those 10, 15 patients. Money will come. Like ma'am said, there are 10% CKD there is 10% of our population is CKD. More of it is hypertensive, more of it is diabetic. All these patients are going to come to you only. So there is not going to be dearth of patients and work. We just have to pace ourselves.
Lovey, same holidays, missing social events, and how do you feel? I mean, balancing the depression and guilt or anything.
Ma'am, addressing your first question regarding the holidays, on 2 Sundays I have to take the rounds, the morning rounds. But I must say that my evenings are free, and the other 2 Sundays are absolutely free. So, whatever time I have, I try to make the best use of it. I spend it literally with my family and kids. The Sundays, me and my husband, like we have to give it to our family no matter what. The good part, again, the advantage for me is that my even my parents live very close to my husband's home. So actually managing them, looking after parents and my family, it gets easier when you have two families located so close to each other. Regarding the time spent on social engagement, actually we have sort of I realize that we have made an invisible pact of some sort, that we compartmentalize and take care of things. Few things are taken care of by my in-laws. There are certain places which where I'm supposed to go, my husband is not really required, I go there, and my husband takes part of the takes care of the part where I'm or not supposed to, I mean, like that compulsory to attend. So probably we have an internal pact of some sort that we take care of these. There are definitely the social events that we definitely have to miss. You can't go to every event when you have such tight schedule. But I think dividing and ruling is the key here. The third is about the guilt. Yes, there are a lot of guilts that I have regarding the being the traditional mom. My mom was a homemaker, so I have seen a mom who has been with me always. I have not been able to be such a mom to my kids so far, and that includes my premature kid, whom I always have thought that I should have given more time. But I think the times have changed, the rules have changed, and I cannot be a superwoman at the end of the day. I have to
True,
realize that
true.
I am
You
a
are, you
human,
guys are.
and
That
I
is true. Yeah.
and I need to seek help wherever it is, be it a workplace, be it the home area. It's not wrong to seek help and take care of the added responsibilities that you have. It's the only way to make things work.
So we have now almost come to the end of it. To as I realized talking to all three of you, I realize you three have your own self-belief. Whatever issues that you have, you are all three striving to do the best that is possible. And you acknowledge the support of home of your partner, which is very important. And never feel anything that when you do something for your partner, it is a compromise. No. But Umesh Khanna told me that for your husband, Urmila, you shifted 3 cities. Nothing. It is nothing. At the end of the day, when you are together, working together with your family, that support is very important. And thirdly, I realize you all three can do very well. So, as they say at the end of a discussion, 30 seconds for suggestions for the youngsters. We start with Lovi, Priti, and Akash. 30 seconds to the youngsters. From your life, from your experience, what do you want to tell them?
Ma'am, the first thing would be never try to become a superhuman. Seek help wherever you can. Second thing is be a part of a good team. Realize that how your mentors have helped you,
True.
and be such a mentor to the other person, to the juniors that you have, so their life gets better. I cannot, my life would have been much difficult if my boss would not have been supportive. And so I understand that I have to be such a boss to my juniors. And third is that uh, I think don't the things get better with time. There are times when you get overwhelmed with the situation, but time is the biggest healer. Things get better with time. I can definitely say that.
Preeti,
Yeah, first of all, other than that, get a mentor. It is very important to have a mentor in your life. Whenever I don't know what is to be done here. Even I have called Dr. Mila, I called Dr. Arpita at times. Madam, what would you have done when you are in my situation, in personal front and professional front? How would I have managed it? Second of all, yes, it is okay to not to be okay. Mental health is also important. Take a break, go for a vacation, get a hobby. I know even on Netflix, spend a Sunday on Netflix if you don't have kids on that. This is also very important. And I don't know if Sunday, keep yourself, you have to give some space to yourself also. It's always between your family and work, but you yourself is also an important. It's drawing, swimming, cricket. Most of the guys love cricket, so spend one hour in a week on cricket also. Anything, indoor game, outdoor game, I think that is also very important. And do not think hard working or working late and working that much as a badge of honor. It's not that.
Yes, it is never.
It's not a
True.
badge of honor. You should understand that and set goals for your life, what you want to do, and spend each and single minute of that to that goal. How to achieve that goal. It is your family to happiness, satisfaction, whatever it is. I am sure it is not money, and it is not more number of patients. I'm sure it's not that.
So,
Akash, to wrap
yeah.
up.
Yeah, ma'am. So basically, it's very important for you to understand whether you are struggling or whether you're successful or whether you've achieved or you've not achieved. You can't do everything together. It's very difficult. You cannot handle academics, practice, family life together. You have to strike a balance, and there is a right time for everything. If you've had a good background, if you have a lot of money, maybe you can give importance to academics and family. If you've come from modest backgrounds, practice on focus on practice and family. Academics can be, I've been told by people that once kids become 7 to 10 years old, you get enough time and you're offloaded. Maybe you start focusing on academics at that point of time. So you don't have to do everything on in one go. You can pace your life. And more importantly, it's something, it's important. I've said this before. It's a marathon, and if you'll be able to go through the marathon only if you've trained yourself well. So if you keep yourself healthy, if only then you'll be able to reach the age of 70 still working on your and running on your feet. And most of the doctors, including nephrologists across the country, across the globe, are unhealthy. We are overweight, we have medical issues, and most of us have mental health issues, whether we accept it or not. We are all overworked and overstressed. The point of or the discussion on burnout would not have come up if people would not have been in depression. So it's important to kind of understand this early on in life and learn it the right way. And whatever you've learned the hard way, pass it on a little easier to your juniors. And you've seen the challenges yourself, so make sure that the lives of your juniors are not taxed as they were for you. So that's something. And for working dads, it's extremely important to have one routine with your child, be it putting that child to sleep every day, or reading a book, or maybe one activity on a Sunday. Make sure you keep one thing special for yourself, otherwise the child is going to forget you. You don't want your child to grow up and tell you that my father was never there. So at least form one activity which they will remember you by, because it's extremely important to have that connect with your child. I think that will be
Thank
my
you.
take.
Thank you very much, all three of you. And as you realize, we can go on talking, but then I will be amiss because this is a Sunday. So let's not forget that. And
Yes.
thank you very much. And I thank once again Dr. Umesh Khanna to get this in focus. And I'm sure people and youngsters should view this and get an idea how to manage life. Thank you very much, all three of you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having us.
Thank you.
Bye. See you.
Bye.